Hello. Over the next 12 minutes, you'll learn how to discover, assess, and act on vulnerabilities found with Rapid7's free vulnerability management software, Nexpose Community Edition. When discovering, we'll first set up a new static site and list the IP addresses we want to scan. Then we'll scan for vulnerabilities. Once the scan is done, we'll assess the results. Finally, we'll act by creating two reports, one designed for executives and the other designed like an audit. As you can imagine, the executive report is about high-level details, and the audit report is a detailed look at everything. So, let's get started. After installing Nexpose Community Edition, this login page loads automatically. Make sure to bookmark this page so you can get to it quickly. I'll log in. The first time you log in, you're taken to the licensing information page. Here you can click Activate a new license and enter your product key. Once you activate the product, click Home in the navigation bar. Home is where you set up a new static site of IP addresses and scan for vulnerabilities. I'll click New Static Site. Here's a little wizard that'll guide me through creating a new site. I'll name it My Network and click Next. Here we can list the IP addresses and host names in the new site. I'll click Next. Here we can choose the scan template. The scan template contains all the information on how Nexpose will scan the device, patch checks, default user accounts, and other security aspects. We'll choose the default scan template, Full Audit, which is very comprehensive. You can see we can choose a number of different ways to control how assets are scanned and which checks are performed for this site. We can also set up a schedule for these scans. Enabling a schedule is really nice. Not only will it automatically scan My Network, but it can also be combined with our automated report generation. Let's go ahead and enable a schedule and begin reoccurring scans tomorrow at 2 a.m. For basic setup, we're done. So I'll click Save. And here's our new site. You can see it has not been scanned yet because we set up a schedule to start tomorrow at 2 a.m. If we want to scan now, we can just click here. We'll go ahead and scan the one IP that we configured in the site and click Start Now. Times vary based on the number of assets being scanned. Okay, our scan is complete and we're back at home. Now let's assess the scan from a very high level to a very detailed look. Here we can see a very high level view of the scan. We scanned one asset, 19 vulnerabilities were discovered, and here's the associated risk score. Let's dive into this a little deeper. I'll click My Network. As you can see, we've moved from Home to Assets. Here we're presented with a site summary, info and charts. Here's a chart that shows vulnerabilities over time. So what assets are affected? If we scroll down, we can assess a particular asset. This asset is running Microsoft Windows XP Service Pack 3. There are 19 vulnerabilities. The risk score is 11,396. Now, if you're familiar with vulnerability software, that's the info you look at. So if these two columns are so important, why are they after these two columns? Well, this is where Nexpose Community Edition takes things to the next level. The number one most important question is, are any of the assets on my network susceptible to malware attacks or actual exploits? That's what these two columns tell you. In the first column, we can see that we have 0 malware kits that can be used to exploit the vulnerabilities found on this asset. In the second column, we can see how many known exploits exist for each asset. Now, we can dive deeper into anything with a blue hyperlink. Let's see the information discovered in this asset. Here are the properties of this asset. If we scroll down, here's a breakdown of the vulnerabilities. Traditionally, most vulnerability scanners will only prioritize based on CVSS or severity. Remember, CVSS measures the potential impact of this vulnerability. Yes, that's important, but if there's a known exploit for a vulnerability, that should move to the top of the list. There are vulnerabilities that can be very damaging with a low CVSS or risk. Let's organize by the number of exploits that are available. These are the ones that we want to fix first. If we click an M in a vulnerability, here's a list of exploits that can be used to attack that vulnerability. I hope you see the benefits of organizing by exploits. The risk score actually combines information on malware kits, exploits, CVSS, and the age of the vulnerability into a single risk factor, so this can be a great way of prioritizing. As I said earlier, anything with a blue hyperlink can be clicked for more info. So we started at a very high level and saw the results. Then we drilled down an areable to see individual results for each asset. Now we're going to go even deeper and click a vulnerability to get more info. Here's an overview of the vulnerability. Below is a description. Here are the assets affected with the vulnerability with proof as to how the scanner identified this asset with it. If we scroll down, we can see the exploits available for this vulnerability. Scroll down further, and you can see malware kits available for this vulnerability. We can click references to learn more about the vulnerability, including BID, Bug Tracking ID, MSKB, Microsoft Knowledge Base, an easy-to-access reference library to further research the discovered vulnerabilities. So now that we understand the potential problems, let's move into my favorite part. Here are the solution steps, which are critical to the remediation portion of your vulnerability management program. We've discovered and assessed the scan. Now it's time to act. So how are we going to distribute and deliver this information to others in the organizations, and especially to the security team? Well, let's scroll up. We clicked Home to discover and scan my network, clicked Assets to assess, and now we'll go to the Reports tab to act. As you can see, we don't have any reports generated yet. I'll click New Report. Here's a simple wizard to create a new report. The first report I want to generate is for the executives, so I'll call this Executive. For format, I'll select PDF instead of HTML. We have predefined templates to make reporting very easy. The audit report is highly detailed and meant for device owners and system administrators, while the executive overview is designed for the management team. Let's go with that for now. I'll click Next. Here is where we select what assets we want to report on. I'll click Select Sites. Here's my network. I'll check it and click Save. At the bottom, we can focus the report on all severities, critical only, or critical and severe. Now I'll click Schedule and check this out. I can create a report this one time only, or automatically create a report after every scan. Since we're taking advantage of scan scheduling, with this checked, it'll automatically generate a new report at the completion of this scan. Now I'll click Save. Because the report is scheduled to generate at the completion of the next scan, I'll click Generate for an on-demand report. The report takes a few seconds to generate, and it's done. I can click on it and open the PDF. Here's our concise executive overview report. I'll scroll down through the executive summary with a high-level synopsis, followed by a graphical representation of various points, including most common discovered vulnerabilities, highest vulnerabilities, and discovered operating systems and services. Let's quickly go back and create an audit report. I'll click New Report. I'll name it Audit. And I'd like this to be a PDF as well. I'll click Next. Click Select Sites. Click My Network. Click Save. click Schedule, check after every scan, and I'll click Save. Now, after every scan, we'll have 2 reports, one for executives and one for the security team. You can see the audit report takes a few seconds to generate. I'll click it to open it. The audit report contains many different sections. We start with the executive summary to give you a high-level view before we get into the details. Section 2 lists the discovered systems. In Section 3, we have discovered and potential vulnerabilities. This report is vulnerability-centric, so we'll see discovered vulnerabilities, a description, affected nodes, references, and if we continue to scroll down, there are the solution steps. Our goal is to provide easy-to-use solutions to complex security challenges. I hope you can now see the power of Rapid7's free vulnerability management software, Nexpose Community Edition. In this short time, we've discovered, assessed, and acted on vulnerabilities found on my network. If you want to take things to the next level, we also have Nexpose product editions for medium and large-size enterprises and consulting organizations with even more powerful capabilities, such as scanning unlimited IPs, virtual assets and web applications, and many other advanced features. For more information and free trials on these editions, as well as our award-winning penetration testing solution, Metasploit, please visit our website, www.rapid7.com. Thank you for watching.